It's become kind of impossible for me to see how the world order isn't like collapsing, and it's hard to tell what anyone else is thinking because of how like the news and media works now. So I want to lay out some facts like as I see them, and obviously I'm not an expert, and I'd love to be wrong, but like here is what I see. The U.S. political system, fueled by like money and a two-party structure, created an environment for corrupt and compromised leadership to rise. This system has proven unable to stop a president from initiating a global war. The US government is inarguably in lockstep with Israeli government interests, which, through very clear actions and announcements, whatever, include the expansion of its borders and the annihilation of other people based on religious ideas. With both of these countries now attacking children, journalists, and medics, and hospitals, and energy infrastructure, which like have been war crimes, a new precedent has been set where these are now viewed as acceptable targets by all sides. The U.S. strategy in the Middle East has historically relied on projecting power and promising defense through military bases in exchange for resource control and money. But new military technologies and strategies have now shown this to be ineffective, and we see that Iran's military capabilities have been like very underestimated. So our Middle Eastern allies are losing the incentive to keep funding the US and will maybe be pushed towards figuring out diplomatic deals with Iran, with China, with, whoever. Iran has now achieved more financial gain through resistance than through decades of trying to negotiate. Iran has demonstrated the ability to control the Strait of Hormuz, which basically sets up like a toll booth for global trade. So, one example is they have allowed oil to pass through if it's paid for in Chinese currency rather than US dollars. This disrupts the petrodollar system, which I've talked about before, which is a big driver of global demand for US dollars. And without this demand, the US government can lose its ability to endlessly like print money to pay our debt, which subsidizes like our current way of life. Also, disruption in the strait has like huge, massive effects around the world for everyone on the supply of like energy, food, industrial chemicals, like everything. Ending this war now would rely on an egotistical, thin skinned leadership to accept defeat. Even if that happens, the narrative of US dominance has basically been proven false. And because Israel cannot accept defeat or a US withdrawal without leaving itself vulnerable, escalation seems pretty inevitable. Whether some side is ever declared like a winner in this, to me, the result is kind of the end of U.S. military and financial dominance, which leads to political, social, economic instability here at home.